Thank you, everybody, for coming. I want to thank my team for working with us. So obviously, to put something like this on, you need an entire team, and they've been working. Well, I've been doing notes. They've been working on this and making this happen. And before I go any further, before I click play on this, there's two little girls standing over here. My daughters, Ella. Everybody, look at them, Ella and Anna. Thank you. I'll pay for that later. All right. So before I start running my mouth, I want you guys to watch this. Saying, Nick, what in the hell does that have to do with transition? Right? It was a really awesome video, right? I feel motivated now, blood's pumping. But what does that have to do with getting out of the military and entering the civilian world? Well, I've been doing this for over 2 years now. And I mean, I could probably ask Carl how many people I've helped, but it's been a lot. And over this period of time, I've kind of started to figure out where the issues are. What you're going to see here, though, the past 2 days is not a whole lot of infrastructure. There's a TRS system. There's, some sergeant major is going to talk to you about financial management, and they're going to talk to you about your resume. The issues that I get phone calls over are not about getting a job. When I got out, I got a job. I made a ridiculous amount of money for somebody like myself. I made really good money. And it wasn't enough. And a lot of guys have the same thing. We can get jobs. That can happen. But the problems are not really with infrastructure. Okay, the problems are with, like what Josh said, within ourselves. Okay, so this is the reason why this video is human beings, as we've known them, have been around for 200,000 years. The way that we know them. We are genetically predispositioned, trained, conditioned to be a tribe, okay? We have known it our whole lives. Before we were even born, we were a tribal people, okay? First part of the video, right? They were hunting in groups. Guys would hunt boars, tigers, whatever, but they did it as a group. It wasn't one guy going out there sitting in a stand, all right? They had to. They were using primitive tools. They worked within a tribe to get food for their tribe. Warfare. I mean, human beings have been fighting forever. And definitely don't fight alone, all right? We've always fought together. And again, it's a group of guys working together and fighting. Law enforcement, again, another tribe. Firefighters. Sports, another tribe. CrossFit. There's weirdos out there doing CrossFit. Is that not a tribe? It's definitely a tribe. And we'll talk about one of the reasons why that's successful in the veteran community. And then family. Family is your tribe. So, with that being said, you have trained your whole life from your neighborhood, running around the neighborhood and getting, with your hoodlums and playing. You're in a little tribe in your neighborhood. Okay, well, now you grow up, now you're playing sports. So now you got your little sports team, you're playing soccer, football, t-ball, whatever it is, you're in another tribe. Now you join the military. And if that ain't a damn tribe, that is the tribe. And all of a sudden, you find yourself 30-something, 25 years old, and you're on your couch. And when I talk about this, the rest of the time I'm going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about post-traumatic stress. I'm not going to talk about TBI or health issues. There's people that are going to be speaking here that are much more smarter than I am that will cover those issues. I'm talking about you and I and what we go through. And it's very similar to what a professional athlete goes through. So you are 25 years old. Since the time you were 6, you've been playing football. 25, your knee goes out, you're done. Your life's over. So I've been a professional football player my entire life. Now I'm 25 years old, and I've got nothing. Same thing. So I did 12 years in the Marine Corps. I was 18 years old, joined the Marine Corps, went Recon, went to MARSOC. That is who I was. I was an operator. Everything I did, the way my house was set up, the way I thought about things, the way my vehicle was set up, everything was about me being an operator. Well, if I'm not that, then what am I? So I found myself 30 years old staring at that. Chaos. So I'm 30 years old, and I've got no tribe. I've got crazy kids. Sorry. And I'm wondering why I feel the way I do. Why am I so upset? Why am I depressed? Why do I have all these emotions? Why aren't I just happy? Why aren't I happy to be sitting on the couch with this? Well, and that's because you don't even know. You've been conditioned your whole life to be part of a unit. It's gone. You ain't got it. You're on your own. Okay? So I've kind of came up with, over the past 2 years, I've kind of mapped out, and these are generic, but I've mapped out what the stages of transition are. Okay? And the kind of what you go through. And there's no time on them. There's no timeline on the stages of transition. So this guy, he'll be here later, he's confused, right? He has no idea what's going on. So this is before you're getting out. And I know everybody that's already out knows this. Like a year to 6 months, you're getting out. This is how the Raider Project started right here. Worry and apprehension. What am I supposed to do? I've been doing this my whole life. Now I've got to have this checklist of everything that I'm supposed to do. What am I going to do about money? What am I going to do about a job? What am I going to do about the VA? Medical for my family. Holy shit. Now I've got to figure this out. Okay? So you're unprepared. But it's going to happen. All right, you just figure it out. You link up. You get connected, you link up with your guys. They have a checklist. You go to TRS, you go to the VA. The process works. You go through it. Is it perfected? Absolutely not. But the D-Day comes. So D-Day comes. You've worked all that out. You've kind of got a plan. You've got a job lined up. Yay! Excitement. Freedom. I am free now. I am on my own. Marine Corps doesn't own me. I'm out. I'm done. I am a civilian, and I can do. I took this picture when I got my D-214. I sent it to my team. And they were all like, oh, congratulations. That was it. This is the shortest stage. This picture is all the excitement that was left. It was over by that night. It was done. I'm free. Yep. Here we go. This is going to be the worst stage, and this stage is probably the longest. Okay, and this is when everything starts to happen. I want to call it the rainbow of emotions, because it goes from everything from you're apathetic, and anybody that's been out or has friends, they go, hey, this guy's just detached. He's checked out. He's not hanging out with his friends. And then I hear spouses. He's just not the same. He's not talking to me. He's not talking to his friends. He's not doing anything. He's on the couch. He's not, he's just invisible. He's not home. He's not present. My husband's gone. My brother's gone. My son's gone. They're all gone. So you get apathetic. You are indifferent to situations. You are unmotivated. People gain weight, right? How many brothers or sisters do we have out there that just go, boom, they get out, 20, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, right on them. Unmotivated, angry, bitter. That was me. I was angry. I was bitter at the Marine Corps. I have a 7-inch scar on my arm where I carved out my EGA. Angry. That's bitter. And and this is where all this stuff started happening. So, because we're looking at this is when substance abuse starts happening. And if you guys don't know, in my world, that is a huge one. Alcohol, drugs. We have special operations guys that are strung out on drugs and meth. Hardcore shit. And you could ask yourself, why? How is that possible? This is the best of the best of the best. Why are these guys on drugs? Because they don't understand what they had. They don't understand where they came from. And they don't understand the feelings that they're having. And we're not talking about post-traumatic stress. I'm not talking about brain injuries. I'm talking about their still identity crisis because they've lost their tribe. They don't know where they're at. Okay? If I had a quarter for every time I heard a veteran that was sitting in the Walmart parking lot homeless. I just did some work with a SAS guy, and he told me, Nick, he found out about what I was doing at the Radar Project. He said, that's amazing. Let me tell you a story. I had $400,000 in my bank when I retired. Had a wife, had kids. Everything in the world was going for me. And within a couple years, I found myself homeless, broke, in a Walmart parking lot, ready to blow my brains out. It's a British SAS guy. It's the same concept. He was part of a tribe. He had money. He had everything. And he got lost. We've actually helped 2 individuals that I can remember. I got a call, and they were like, Nick, I'm in a Walmart parking lot. I'm like, Jesus, this is like the housing for homeless people, for homeless vets. But it happens, and this is when it happens. You lose your job, you lose your family, your friends are worried, you get divorced, and you're bitter and angry. Once all that happens, depression sets in, and this is where it happens. This is where you make a choice. So you're dealing with this right here, and obviously we know that people are committing suicide, right? Veterans are committing suicide. I didn't understand that. When I was I remember in 2004, as a young Recon Marine, and I remember hearing about guys committing suicides. I'm like, they're weak. They're weak. If they want to kill themselves, let them kill themselves. I verbally said this. And 15 years later, 10 years later, I'm like, unbelievable. I can't believe those words came out of my mouth. Because now I'm there. Now I understand it. And it's not because you want to die. Guys aren't killing themselves because they want to die. They're emotionally exhausted. They're tired. They're worn out, and they want to rest. So they make a temporary solution to a short-term problem. Done. And all because they were just so emotionally and mentally and physically exhausted they couldn't sleep. And they just wanted to rest. And that's where they make the call. All right? Sad, but it happens. So, that's when you have to make a choice. The guys in this room that have done this, you know what's about to happen to this guy, right? The guy on the right? Yeah, he's about to get it. And he can make a choice right now. What happens? And of course, the guys that have gone through this, you've seen it both ways. You've seen the guys that get tapped out, and you see the guys that make it. It's hard. This is the stage when people start realizing, I have a problem. I'm depressed. Something is jacked up. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I feel this way, but I have to do something about it. This is the choice right here. This is when either you don't make it or you make the choice to make it. Okay? If I told you you're going to EAS in 6 months, you're going to want to commit suicide. You want to kill yourself. A lot of people are going to be like, no, that's not true. Okay? At a year, you're going to want to kill yourself. At some point, you're going to get depressed, and you're going to be emotionally exhausted. You want to kill yourself. If I tell you that, if you know that, it immediately takes the power away from that emotion. Because you'll think back, 6 months ago, Nick said, at this time, I was going to be depressed, and I didn't want to live. I want to commit suicide. And here are the reasons why. And he said, this is what I need to do about it. Knowledge is power, right? So I just took, for everybody in this room, anybody that you share that with, you immediately take the power of that away. Because I know that people have told me things, and I'm like, you're full of shit. And then a year later, I'm like, dang, Kirk was right. Carl was right. Randy was right. Dr. Elk was right. Don't tell her I said that. So we got to take that power away and understand why we are feeling the way we are, and then do something about that. The hustle. Now it's time to get to work. I know I have a problem. I'm not going to sink. I'm going to swim. It's time to put the work in. I was going back to being bitter and angry at the Marine Corps. It took me a minute. It took me a while. But I had to let them go. And what I mean by that is, what does the Marine Corps, the military, do? What is their mission? Their mission is to train, equip, fight, and win wars. And I'll speak for the Marine Corps. They're the fighting force in the world. You take a company of gruts and put them out there, good luck. That is what they do. The Marine Corps fights. So when I hear guys go, the Marine Corps this, the Marine Corps did that, the Marine Corps did this, and they screwed me over, and I got screwed. Yeah, sure. You got screwed over. So what? They are doing their mission. You get left, right? You leave the Marine Corps, everybody forgets about you. You're replaced with another dude that day. They're driving on. I had to get used to the thought that that's their job. Their job is not to equip me to be a civilian. It's not their job. And that's the reason why I was like, well, somebody's got to do that, so we can do it. All right? So think about the time and energy it spent, the putting the work in for a Special Operations Marine, a U.S. Marine Raider. how many hours did you spend swimming? How many hours do you spend patrolling? How many hours do you spend on the range to where you get muscle memory of everything that you do? So you spend better part of a decade honing these skills to be this thing, and to be able to do a certain thing. And you think that you're going to get out with no training, just hop right in, and be good to go. Absolutely not. We have to train to be better. One of the guys that's going to be talking in here, and everything that I'm covering is going to be covered in depth by somebody else. Jeff Nichols spoke, and he said, it is absurd that we go and lift weights and we go train all this time, and then that's it. And then we don't put the same amount of effort and thought into the recovery side. So getting better, to get better, you have to put the work in. If you want to sleep, you got to put the work in to sleep better. If you want to not be depressed, you got to put the work in to not be depressed. Once you've put the work in, can you make it to the top? And it is. Anybody that's gone through this whole thing, and I've had discussions with so many veterans, there's just this process. And then once you really make the commitment that you're putting the work in, and I'm going to work on this, and I'm going to get better. And I was talking to some guys here that are here this weekend, and they're like, I want to get better. I'm going to put the work in. And when that starts happening, you start to get better. And then this starts happening. And when you make it to the top, when you're up on the upward spin and you're out of that funk, things start happening for you. The universe opens up. But to get there, you're not going to get placed on the top of the mountain. I don't know if anybody's hiked up a mountain, but your legs are going to burn. You're going to get tired. It's going to hurt. You might have to take a break. But if you want to get to the top of there, nobody's going to get you up there. You're going to go there. Well, so we have all these steps. We have the 7 stages of transition. I like this. Oh, Walt Disney. The way to get started is to quit talking and begin doing. Everybody's talking. Everybody wants to talk about stuff, right? But we got to do it. We got to physically do it, mentally do it. So, Nick, you just gave us all the problems. What do we do about it? Okay? I actually came up with this, not by a veteran, by a friend and a spouse of a veteran. And I started thinking about, when people call me, what do I tell them? Okay, I've got a guy, he's got post-traumatic stress, he's acting crazy, he doesn't, he's checked out. He's completely checked out. So what do I tell him to do? So I get on the phone with the guy. He's like telling me his sob story and all the problems he has and all the excuses that he has for not being better. Are you sleeping? No. Well, step 1. Anybody that's done any patrolling, I'll tell you this. My patrol phase, about day 3, I'm looking at Garfield sitting on the back of a Marine, and then I see Vietnam-era guys walking through, was it Sandy Run or whatever the place is up the road, hallucinating out of my mind, walking off into the middle of the woods, because I haven't slept in 3 days. If you are not sleeping, you're going to go crazy. You will become mentally ill if you're not sleeping. And you want to talk about work? There are guys in this room, including myself, that did not sleep for years. I'm like, when's the last time you had 8 hours of hard, deep, just like you woke up going, what the hell happened? I don't know, 2005. Can you wonder why you're losing your mind? You're shaking. You can't talk. You can't carry on a conversation with somebody. So you're not sleeping. So the number one thing now, your mission has become. Your whole job is just get sleep better, by any means necessary, healthy. What guys do about this? Booze it up. I'm just going to start drinking, right? And guys, before they even know it, before they're even out, hitting the bottle every night. it just makes me relax. What that does is that, they'll talk about it more, but it actually causes you not to go into deep sleep, so you're not actually sleeping. So number one, go to sleep. Get your body to bed. Jeff, which we'll talk about this, he's a good friend of mine, but at 8 o'clock, that dude's gone. Because he's got a process, and he's going to bed because he knows that's how he stays better. That's how he stays healthy. So he will be gone. You'll be out to dinner, and he just Navy SEAL off into the bushes. Get healthy. And I don't mean Iron Man, Captain America, operator healthy, I'm constantly fighting that battle. I'm like, man, but back in BMG, I was freaking jacked and fast and everything. No, eat healthy. You need to be healthy. Eat healthy. Get physically fit. Do you have to be a bodybuilder? Do you have to be a CrossFit god? No. But if you have a ton of excess body weight, body fat, it's going to play with you. Also, when you're depressed sitting on the couch, wondering what in the heck's going on with your life, when you start sleeping 8 hours a night and then you start working out, boom, dopamine. Your hormones are starting to come back. You're starting to get happy. Everybody knows once you start hitting the gym more regularly, you're like, oh, dang, I feel good. I feel good. Because that's that dopamine kicking in, so now you're starting to feel better. So you're combating all those depression issues, all those worthlessness issues. Now you're like, I think I'm getting stronger. Hey, you see a six-pack? I think I get a six-pack. And then after that, find a mission. Our whole life, we have been mission-oriented. Our whole adult life in the military. Everything was the next deployment, the next school, the next this, the next thing. And that's what we did because we were passionate about that. Okay? If you don't have a mission, you are lost. We are mission-oriented. So you have to find a cause. You have to find something that wakes you up in the morning. You're like, oh, I'm doing this. My mission is the Raider Project. My mission is you guys. That's what I do. It fulfills me. And I have some other things as well. But you have to find a mission. Now, go to sleep. Can that be your mission? Step one, there's your mission. What's your full-time job? Going to sleep. I set my whole day up just so I can go to sleep at night. Then getting fit and healthy. If you're really jacked up, guess what? My mission is getting healthy. And then once that's done and you have a solid base, find out what you got to do. And this is what a lot of people say, you have to get a job, you need to do this, you need to do that. I don't say that anymore. I don't say what you need to do, I say what do you want to do? Do what you want to do, not what you need to do. Because that's going to make a difference in your success. If you're doing what you want to do, it's going to change your whole life. And do it. Do what you want to do. Find the mission. Do what you want to do by any means necessary. Don't be this guy. Don't be the guy wandering around the desert alone. This is not for us. This is the reason why CrossFit is so great, is so big in the veteran community. Because you get out, and what do? SAR, Team Summit Semi Required, right? You find a tribe. That's why they're successful in those communities. Firefighters, guys get out, they want to go be a firefighter, they want to go be a cop, because it's natural. You go find a tribe, okay? Don't be the guy alone in the desert, all right? Get connected. Understand what you're dealing with, and get help. I want to thank you guys again for coming here. It's a lot of work. It means a lot. This is something that when we put this together, and I've been dealing with all of the speakers over the past 2 years on an individual basis, and I wanted to bring them all together and collectively in a room to impart this information on you guys, film it so that we can reach millions. So I really appreciate you guys showing up and helping us do this. All right? That is all I got.